I would describe my dad as a humble and very happy person. As I heard stories from my family, he was just a down-to-earth person. He just loved just being with people and being a happy person.
I would describe him as a very honorable, courageous person who took his duty and service to country further than most people. So.
I was the happiest woman in the world when I married him.
So I first met Colonel Kelly when he was a major and I was a captain. That was back probably in the mid-90s time frame. He was working at the National Guard Bureau as the Aviation Operations Officer for the Aviation Directorate.
I was working in emergency room. I had to mentor a nurse. So it was Friday night and we were walking at the towards the club. A guy said hello to us and we started talking and did not know that it will be my future husband, Paul.
So Paul Kelly was a phenomenal leader and really was what I would characterize as a servant leader.
He was a good man, not only a Prince Charming, but he has a good heart. He doesn't really talk down to you. He always made me special. I mean, I never had like a negative things about my husband. And I knew that and I told this to everybody when I met him and married him, I knew that I won a lottery.
He led with great confidence and authority, however, really led from a point of looking for the interest of others, looking for the interest of the Army and the military.
The day when he died, it was 3 helicopters, 2 coming in from the airport and 1 coming back. So when they called for help, when my husband's helicopter got shut down, the pilot called for help, especially like Mayday, Mayday, and they had to identify what aircraft is that. So the name of the group that they were is an EC-40.
I finished the race. One thing that really impacted me is getting used to your parents not being around all the time and kind of being a little bit more independent with what you do and not relying on somebody always being there for everything.
Growing up in a military family, I guess it molded me into a better person as not a lazy person, striving to something I want to do with my life. Especially going in the military, I hope to do that after college, going to college first, and then not enlisting, but going as an officer route like my father did.
He was the best husband in the world, that a woman can have. And if we have my husband, if everybody have my husband, the whole world as a wife would be so happy. And we will have a perfect marriage.
Everybody that he met, and that was from superior officers, from general officer level, which again, privileged to be really taking a lot of my leadership style early on for things that Paul Kelly taught me as a captain and as a major working with him, to peers, other colonels and field grade officers, but especially his subordinates.
It was the best time in my life that cannot be replaced. The memories and fun being with him, with my children, is the most memorable and most wonderful I had in my life.
The best memory was when him and I went fishing all day. Him and I went to Quantico. We caught a bunch of fish. I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So yeah, it was probably my favorite memory.
He just teach us how to do karate and jiu-jitsu and all the fun stuff, and we would just play for hours, and it's probably one of my few memories I have left of him. So
It's just so sad that, it's only like 11 years of his life with me, but it was the most beautiful time in the world that he spent with us that I wish it was forever. But I know someday we will see each other, and someday we'll meet again. I miss him every day. I still cry every day thinking about him. There's no day or a moment that I don't think about it. I try my best to be smiling, happy for the sake of my children, because I would like them to have a happy life. Because when he died, it was a sudden death. We didn't even get a chance to say goodbye.
I've kept the faith. The bond I had with my mom was not always like a good, like smooth bond. Obviously, like growing up, you're not always everything's not perfect with your parents. But my mom was always there for me. She was always there at my sporting events. She was always there, like cooking people food. She was always helping everybody. And that was, looking back, always a good thing.
We have a very close bond, as it was just us three for years now, and we just had a very close bond. Me and my brother, we had a shaky bond at first, but as we grew up, we grew to love each other, and I love them to death. And they have my back. They just support me with everything I do.
But with my brother, we always grew up like just how older brother and little brother always are, fighting and best friends sometimes, and then the next minute, we're fighting. So ever since I went away and I came back, like we're always a lot closer, and we don't really fight.
The greatest gift I have from God is my 2 sons, beside my husband. We are very close-knit. When my husband was alive, we always do things together, and I gave up my career to stay with them, and I was so fortunate and blessed that my husband allowed me to stay with them and raise them, and I did. But because of our faith, my Catholic faith, I was able to raise my children in a good environment.
I enlisted for myself because I knew I wanted to become an officer, and I knew I was doing ROTC here, so I wanted to get a little bit more experience, like going to basic training. And I also wanted to have that little bit of independency for myself, like make my own money and I can make my own decisions.
He went through a lot. At first, he doesn't want to go to college, but thank God, with my prayer, a lot of prayers, he was able to go to college and join the ROTC and join the Army National Guard. Now he's in junior in college and doing so well. So I thank God for that.
So both of our kids were right there at that 2 to 3 years of age. So that was the first time that I saw Paul David, and just watching him running up and down the halls of our battalion operations building. So to take from that point, having served directly under his dad for a time, and just really developed a close friendship with him. Quite a privilege to be able to swear Paul David into the Virginia Army National Guard.
I think the best way I could say that I carry on the memory of him is every morning when I wake up, I think, how am I going to be a better person today than I was yesterday? That's the first thing I think about, and then I make my bed and I get on with my day. So I think that's the best way for me to carry on his legacy, is just to keep bettering myself and be a good person.
I wish he's here to see them growing up, being successful, and just following his legacy. And freedom is not free.